Hey everybody, this is Ponyficreviews here, and I'm going to be, during the first episode of this wonderful adventure, I'm going to be doing a review of a horror fic called Hoofwitch Horror. You can probably tell it's a horror fic. There, that was pretty obvious. Anyway, the main plot, I'll start with the plot. The main plot of the story is Twilight goes gonna have to do some research, again, for some spell Luna asks her about. And she goes into some, I wasn't quite sure if it was a cafe or a library, but it's some basement area somewhere. And anyway, so she goes there, and she finds this, looking all over the place, she finds this book. And I know what everyone's thinking immediately. It's another one of those things where it's some magical book and they get transported to time and have sex with dinosaurs. No. That's not what this is about. She finds the book, and it follows a very interesting G1 plot, which I found was different, and I like that. Basically, one of the characters from G1, Molly, goes batshit crazy and tries to take over Equestria using a wand that she calls a Shadow Stealer, which is basically a gun. And she blows off Megan and Tommy's head, and because apparently they wanted friendship and she wanted to kill everybody, which, you know, what girl doesn't want to do that? Anyway, so Twilight's reading this, and the whole thing is a journal of some pony from Generation 1 on what happens while Molly is taking over Equestria. And it gets pretty intense. I mean, some of the things she does are pretty horrible. It's kind of vague exactly what she's doing, but it's very clear she's turning them into some sort of monsters or some sort. Not like Frankenstein, but more mutated beings. And then it ends with her saying that she's about to get caught, and it's like it's some sort of cult. She's creating some sort of cult almost, like Jonestown or something. And so what happens is that the journal ends, Twilight's confused as fuck, and she's looking at the book, and she realizes that's not ink, that's covered in really dark frickin' blood. I personally found that a really nice touch. It was slightly expected, but, you know, sometimes obvious things are good things. So then she tries to go to these ruins of this site. It's not entirely clear where she gets the idea, or maybe it is and my mind's just drawing a fart. Anyway, she goes to these ruins of the site, and she meets up with Zecora, because the ruins are in, apparently, the Everfree Forest. Turns out that Zecora is very adamant about her not going there, because apparently some terrible things happened many years ago. And I love what the character did with Zecora, because she kept her in her little character bubble, but at the same time, she didn't seem, you know, overly joyous. She didn't seem, you know, overly in the show. She has a normal rhyming thing that Zecora does well and inputs it into the story very well, I thought. But of course, Twilight doesn't listen, and Zecora does this chant, and she's transported into these ruins across the Everfree Forest. I think it's a little bit slightly unclear there, but so she arrives at this area, and what she sees is horrible. It turns out what Molly was doing was trying to turn the ponies into humans. I love the descriptive detail he gives to these. He really gives them a monster sort of like feel. The noses are off. The hair, there's just a little bit of a hair. There's scars where their cutie marks are supposed to be, and they're all worshipping this weird cult. And I mean, they're throwing all the impure ones into this fire, and they're almost doing so willingly. It's horrible. I love it. So anyway, she's trying to blend in and all, but eventually she gets caught. So, what was the good about this story? I personally really like the idea of her writing to Luna about this matter other than Celestia. I think I think that it makes more sense than writing to us about Celestia. Also, it avoids the "Dear Princess Celestia" thing that everyone seems to use now. And the overall concept was brilliant. It combined. At first, it was like reading some horror journal from, you know, like almost Anne Frank style. And then it evolved some mystery of her trying to go to these magic ruins, like Indiana Jones. But the concept I love, which is like Stephen King almost, the concept of these morphed horse/humans that you couldn't quite tell what they were. They were really monster-like. And I also like the whole concept of, it was almost like Molly, you know, the conquistadors conquering a society, and trying to convert them. It was almost a combination of the conquistadors and the Spanish Inquisition, along with the persecution of the Christians. I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff. That's just me. Also, the whole first person really enhanced the story. Seeing it through Twilight's eyes, it was one of those times where first person really made the story that much better. Letter format, was it necessary? Well, maybe, maybe not. Is it necessary to have a Hummer? Maybe, maybe not. Is it necessary to have a Hummer with wings? No. Is it awesome? Yes. I have no idea what that had to do with the story, but I'm keeping it in anyway. And like I said before, I think the diary there, it was a great setup for the story. It was a great hook. It got you in thinking, you know, what's this diary about? The diary was descriptive enough to keep the reader interested, but vague enough to make them wondering what's going on, which is exactly what you want in a horror story. Now for the fun part. The bad. Random lesbians. Everywhere. I'm reading the story, and all of a sudden I see my beloved, and I'm like, oh, Luna and Twilight are lesbo shipping. Okay, I can handle that. All right. Let me read some more. I still don't see where that's coming in. Nope. Still nope. Oh, okay. That I'm still not seeing why they have to be. Oh, here's a paragraph at the end, and Weatherstorm Pegasus. What? There is no reason for them to have any shipping. I mean, maybe the author thought, you know, it'd be cute or something, but it detracted from the entire story. I mean, I'm trying to figure out where that has to do with anything, and it's just lesbians for the sake of being lesbians, which can be okay, but in a horror fic, if you're gonna make lesbians, they have to mutilate each other. So apparently that's how the pony fiction works. Anyway, more bad things. The ending was so anticlimactic. You finally have Twilight, who's there, captured, struggling against her will. I'm gonna do a reenactment of basically how the ending goes. This is Molly. This is Twilight. Feed the hooves. Hey, I finally got you. No, you didn't. Yeah, I did. You're a brat. You're spoiled. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. You don't know anything. No, you're stupid. No. And then she has a tantrum. Twilight escapes and burns everything down. That is seriously how this thing ends. Really? I think what could have really enhanced this was to maybe have her captive for a little bit longer, express her sorrow, or like her feel of loneliness and hopelessness. Maybe throw in the obligatory scene where she's thrown a meal, but it's made of, you know, shit, litter boxes, and wood. I mean, I felt like I was really gypped off of all this ending stuff, and then all of a sudden she, you know, burns everything down, wakes up, starts crying for some reason because it was so horrible, and then paragraph from Luna about weather. I have absolutely no idea what those things have in connection with each other. The other part I had, that was another really random plot device, was the dragon. Maybe it's some G1 thing I don't understand, but the dragon was saying, "Twilight, you must do this." Twilight's like, "Okay." She does this. "Thank you, I can rest in peace." What the fuck did that have to do with anything? Where do dragons come in? Why is there a magical talking dragon out of thin air? I mean, and at one point it was like they was coming out of the paintings or something. By the way, another good thing, I love the description of the paintings. That was cool. Anyway, less art things, more ponies. It distracted me because I was trying to figure out how they connect and they didn't connect. I don't think the whole pride got me was really necessary. Because I don't think that's true. I mean, I don't know, if I found a horrible book about some terrible event that I didn't know about, I think I would want to explore those ruins. I mean, why the hell not? And I mean, I think sometimes she was prideful in getting into their trap when they were saying, you know, obviously in the dark place, the little kid saying, "Twilight, come out to play." Yeah. She's like, "I ran away because they wanted me to." It's like, I wouldn't stay there. That's not your fault. I kind of imagine this story like a big frickin' tree. Has all these pink, beautiful flowers on it. All this gorgeous, gorgeous tree. And then there's this big fucking bud that hasn't bloomed yet. It's like huge tree and there's this glaring, ugly spot that no one knows why it's there. It's a big tree, but everyone's gonna look at that spot and get very distracted by it. So, like I said, I don't really grade this. Or actually, I didn't say this, but anyway, I don't grade this stuff a lot, or I don't rate this stuff a lot on grammar because I'm horrible at that. So basically, I would work on whoever this author is, because the author didn't send it to me. I read it on my own. I would get rid of unnecessary plot devices and expand a little bit more on things that need to be expanded on, because the ending felt really rushed to me. And I would just omit the last paragraph, because that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. I have no idea what tornadoes have to do with making ponies into humans. So anyway, what do I give this story? I'm going to give this story an 8 out of 10, because it was a great concept, great everything else, but honestly, there is a bunch of plot devices that just confuse the living fuck out of me. So anyway, if you like this video, I might do more reviews, might do less reviews. I don't know, I have a guitar that I can't play. Just go silent. Fuck. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll leave some, if you want me to review one of your fics, I'll leave it down, leave it down below. If you want me to want to suggest a fic I should review, you should just leave it down below. If it's one of your fics that you want me to review, I will give you also a detailed review of it instead of me just kind of going off topic. Also, just beware. If I ever somehow lack putting out videos, not because I don't want to do this, it's because I have the attention span of a retired badger. So I cycle through things. Like, I'll spend 2 weeks on, like, making paper mache out of rat feces, and then the next week we'll be taking children's fingernails and making chairs out of them, stuff like that. Anyway, that was a really long outro, and this is Ponyficreviews. Hope you like it. And I'll see you guys next time.